Guys, don't look now. I don't want to jinx it, but I think we made it to the weekend. Okay, almost. We got to get through this Friday thing, but it's going to be a huge weekend. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for finding a Wicked Radio audio podcast. And I'm sorry, audio podcasters, you listeners, you're going to get you're going to get the raw end of the deal on Monday because it's going to be all about the live stream on Monday, I think, because of what's happening. More details to follow. But thanks for downloading the podcast, subscribing wherever you get those. And this is a replay always on X and YouTube and Facebook and all that crap. But more importantly, it's Friday before the inauguration. I think I told you a couple of days ago, so I'm going to go to the inauguration. My very, very, very good friend got me into that deal, so I will be there on Monday. So I don't think there's any possible way to do a live stream, a regular Wicked Radio live stream pod on Monday. Because what I found out 2 days ago heading into this thing for prep plans is, in D.C., the security gates are going to open at 6 a.m., right? Sounds about right. For the 12 a.m. official beginning of the inauguration of the swearing in, right? And then you find out there is more security. This is how it's described. There is more security for this event than any event in human history. That's how it was described. Whether it is or not, I don't know, but that's how it's being described by one D.C. official. There's 30 miles of security fencing on this thing. So I think, if this officially gets underway at noon and security begins at 6 a.m., I don't think that's going to happen. But got a plan for this whole thing. But my phone is going to be with me. So for you X users, and I'm sorry for everybody else, but for you X users, the plan should be to just stick my phone up in the air and from the crowd's perspective, live stream as much as I can from the inauguration. You'll be watching this mostly on, the official network channels and all that good stuff. But that maybe from the crowd perspective might be interesting. And even if I could talk to some people up there to be able to talk to them and find out what's going on, that might be a thing worth doing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I think that's the plan anyway. And if you do, so on the X thing, on Wicked Bill Adams, you should be following me. Press follow, but then next to the follow notification, just press next to the follow little graphic there, just press the little bell. That's for alerts. So when anything starts, anything I think is interesting to live stream for the inauguration coming up, just press the little notifications alert, and we should be good to go there. But what about the preparation plans? Because you've heard a lot about this. I've heard a lot of even hardcore Trump supporters, even like people in his own potential administration say, no, I don't know, sir, maybe you shouldn't do this. Maybe, I don't know, security risk is too much. I don't think he's going to worry about that, number one. And number two, do you think this is really a guy that's going to back down at all from going to his own inauguration? Plus, it's too late. I mean, the hay's in the barn for the preparation on this thing. In fact, speaking of that, this was from this past weekend, but CBS Sunday Morning did a special. They did a news story on the security measures that are being taken for this thing. This isn't where they described it as the most secure event in human history, but listen to some of the plans underway.
The amount of fencing and the amount of personnel that we bring in for this inauguration eclipses all other inaugurations that we have.
About 25,000 law enforcement and military personnel will safeguard the inauguration, including 7,800 National Guard authorized to protect the nation's capital and its 250,000 ticketed guests.
Including me. So that's why I say I don't know. At 8 a.m. for a normal live stream, which I usually jump here and talk to you guys about, I don't know if that's going to happen. But maybe it'll be more interesting from the crowd to actually stick this phone right here, stick it up from the crowd and see what's going on from the crowd perspective. So if you want to do that, let me know in the comments. I will certainly do that. But again, next to the follow me, which you should be doing anyway, under the notifications bell, click that so you know what's happening so we can get some coverage anyway. I would love to talk to people that are there. I'd love to be able to do that. I don't know what the exact scene is going to be like. Like I've covered for, back in radio days, 3 Trump rallies. I got a pretty good idea of like what the crowd is like there. It's very secure anyway. But this being a little bit more official in the beginning of a new era, it'll be interesting to talk to the people that are there. So we'll see. We'll check it out anyway. All right, let's talk about the best and the worst in aviation. Did you happen to catch this? I didn't see it live. I didn't even know it was happening, which is actually kind of a cool thing. There are so many amazing SpaceX events that happen now that they're becoming kind of commonplace. Not quite yet, but it's amazing. It's kind of like the space shuttle launches back in the day, like the first few, people would take off of work to go see it, to watch it on a TV somewhere. By the time there were a few years into it, and this was with the Apollo missions too. You know, after Apollo 11, the interest kind of died down a little bit, except for Apollo 13, because that became a story. It's just human nature. When we know everything's cool and it's amazing and we've seen it before, we're kind of like, yeah, okay. Someday that'll be like with SpaceX. Like, it'll be commonplace to do amazing launches like their satellite launches, and catching the boosters like it's no big deal. But until we get to that point, it's a very big deal. And they did it again yesterday. They caught another booster rocket with the chopstick things at SpaceX headquarters in Texas. They call this thing Mechazilla. It caught the super heavy booster rocket in the chopsticks for the second time. And I love hearing the audio from the SpaceX people because they're just so excited. It's not like the old white shirt and black tie, skinny black tie NASA days. These people actually love what they do. And when they caught it, this is what it sounded like.
Down to 3 engines.
Mechazilla has caught the booster, which is just, it's an amazing thing to see this booster rocket come down and get caught. So that was awesome. Yeah, it's true. The Starship 7 blew up over the Turks and Caicos, but we didn't need to talk about that. That's, they lost Starship 7 and the pieces fell down in a beautiful burning up display in the atmosphere, but that's okay. Listen, let's focus on the cool part of it, right? They caught the booster rocket. Starship, not so good. Booster rocket with the Mechazilla, that was awesome, okay? So we're still going to count that as a massive win for human ingenuity and human aviation. Now, here's a massive loss for aviation. So apparently, there was a drunk Southwest pilot who got arrested, pulled off his plane, and this happened at Savannah Hilton Head Airport. I've never actually seen this happen, but every once in a while, when you cover this kind of stuff, you hear these stories go on where like a pilot's in trouble, they arrest somebody here, or maybe there's a ruckus on a plane. I remember a story a couple of years ago, I don't know what airline it was, but the pilot and co-pilot got into a scuffle, and the cops had to come on board. But what would your reaction be if you saw, and again, if this is at Savannah Hilton Head Airport, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing it's a smaller type plane, not one of the big ones, smaller type plane, so you probably saw everything that was going down. Well, here's some passengers' reactions to seeing the pilot get hauled off the plane. And again, this is the worst of aviation. We covered the best. Now here's the worst. But listen to the guy at the end. I love what the husband says. He says, "Oh, I knew it all along."
My husband just kind of looked over and he goes, "That's odd. There's a police officer on the plane."
And when they walked out with the pilot, my first comment to her was, "He's drunk." His face was red. He looked like he'd been out or tired or just hadn't slept.
This is such a husband thing, isn't it? We would all do it. You guys, we would. I would. I'd be like for sure. I'd bet you $1 million. Like while it was happening on the scene, the guy had no idea what was going on. That guy right there. But after he's talking to a news crew and he's told the story quite a few times, when he gets back with his golf buddies, he's like, we tell the story. Oh, I knew it. Oh, I knew it right away. Oh, I could tell that guy was drunk. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I knew. That's just a husband and dad kind of thing. We knew exactly what the deal was. Meanwhile, while it was going on, we're sitting there going, I don't know what's happening there. I would guarantee, if this freaks you out, that there was a drunk Southwest pilot, and I'm sure the airline will make all kinds of apologies and whatever compensation they give these folks because it made the news and it got into the media cycle. If this freaks you out and you got a flight coming up, like me, here's why I wouldn't really worry about it too much. I think if you fly a lot, if you're a business traveler, if you're in sales, if you fly a lot, or even for just leisure, and I would put myself in this category too. I bet you the odds that you've had a plane flown by some sort of inebriated pilot, I bet you the odds are pretty high. Now, I'm not casting dispersions on that industry. They're amazing people. It's incredible what they do. But think about their lifestyle and schedule, right? And the layovers. And by the way, this was at Hilton Head, Party Town in South Carolina. Trust me on this one. I probably would happen. And I tell that to allay your fears because I know that there's backup plans in place. The co-pilot, they do a lot on automatic pilot. Maybe the guy has so much experience, he's on muscle memory, he can fly the plane a little inebriated. Or in this guy's case, red-faced, drop-down drunk. That's okay. Not excusing it. I'm not saying it's a good thing. And yes, these people were right to be freaked out. And the husband there, I knew it. I knew that guy was drunk. I knew it. But I wouldn't let that worry you about flying in the future. Here's the other thing that pilots will tell you what's coming in the future. They're all going to be automated soon. Now, that's scary on its own. That scares me more than a guy that has years of experience that may have had a couple of too many drinks before he took the flight. And we don't know. Maybe he got called in last minute and he didn't know. I don't know what happens in the pilot world, but I'm just telling you, if that freaks you out that there was a drunk Southwest pilot, I wouldn't let that stop you from taking future plans. Because I bet you, if you've got anywhere close to a dozen, 50, 100 flights in your career resume, as a passenger like us, I bet you it's happened before. I would build it. I'm not basing that on anything. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Don't let that freak you out. Don't let it stop your vacation. That's for damn sure. I hope this doesn't become a thing, though, where like people like get on a plane like with their own breathalyzers. You know, some freakazoid would do that too. I want to talk to that pilot. I want to talk to him personally, make sure he's not hammered. That's what I want. You know somebody's going to do that. Let's not let that happen. That would be awful. All right, here's another thing to allay your fears. TikTok is not going away. It was never going to go away. Not when there's so much money involved with this, so much usage, and so much. What did Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, say last week when he met with Trump about this? I think he said something like 6,000 small businesses are reliant on TikTok for their e-commerce. Not even to mention all the influencers or whoever the hell they are, whatever the hell they do, that make their livelihoods off of this, as well as this. And here's what really changed it. And this is why I tell you this isn't going away anytime soon. At first, and let's be fully honest here, Trump was fully on board with banning TikTok. He was when it first came out. Because number one, we found out about the data usage stealing, right? And they are. TikTok itself as a platform, if you've never been on it, never use it, only your kids, only younger people, whatever. It's run by ByteDance, which is a Chinese company that is completely, 100% controlled by the Chinese CCP Communist Party. It just is. That's just a fact, okay? It can become, because this thing is so well designed. Trust me on this. I've seen it, used it, personally understand it. Now I was fully on favor of banning this too. Could be an absolute propaganda weapon. I mean, a militarized weapon. That's how influential this thing is. Watch any kid, take an airport, we were just talking about those, or any kid you know sitting on a couch watching TikTok. It's like this. Scrolling video after video after video after video after, and people will tell you, and I can understand how this happens. You could look up, after scrolling TikTok videos, hundreds of them, thousands of them at a time, you could look up and realize you've been there for 2 hours, 3 hours, easily. What happens if you saw dozens upon dozens of influential, persuasive videos, one after the other? Because that actually happened. Because the TikTok that the Chinese citizens see, they don't see the trans stuff. They don't see the political stuff even. It gets filtered out there in the algorithm. Not here, though. It's all here. Here's what changed, and here's what I think turned Trump around on this. And by the way, what's Trump's feeling on TikTok? Remember this from the campaign?
I'm going to save TikTok.
Because he kicked ass on it. That's what changed. Trump started, for the hell of it, to try to reach out to the younger viewers. And I would bet you that Barron told him to do this. Started a TikTok channel. He automatically became one of the biggest worldwide users because he's Trump, right? And his campaign, which was a lot smarter this time with social media, started doing little quick campaign videos like that. That came from TikTok. He doesn't want to ban this because he figured out how to use it. Flood the algorithm with stuff that you want to get out there. He's not going to do it. Anyway, here's the update. So this ban was supposed to take place 2 days from now, the American ban of it, mainly because of the data stealing, what was happening here. Biden administration announced yesterday they're going to let Trump handle it. They don't want it. They want to wash their hands of it because they're already taking a lot of flack because still to this day, most young Democrats that's their base. That's what they are. And they've already pissed them off. So they don't want to deal with that. So the outgoing administration just announced they're going to let Trump handle it. What does that mean? Guys, that means it's not going away. That's exactly what that means because Trump wants it and he wants to save it. Wants to find an American owner, American buyer of the American leg of TikTok, but it's too far down the road to ban that thing. So what do? If it's already there and it's a thing, you get it in good hands is what you do. Stop the data stealing because you can't have that algorithm. You can't have that exist. You just can't. And put it in an American buyer's hand. And that's exactly what's going to happen, most likely. But Trump doesn't want to ban that thing. You heard it right there because he figured out how to use it. You know, it's kind of like the free speech thing. You don't want to ban speech you don't like or even hateful speech. You want to flood that with positive speech, and that's how you fix that. So You TikTok users, I wouldn't worry about it. TikTok is hilarious to me, and I can tell you this because from this live stream, we're live here. Where this does way better is I take individual clips from this every single day. The audio podcast is one thing, and that goes to wherever you find Wicked Radio for a podcast. It's going great, by the way. Thank you very much. But I take clips from this, and I put different things on different social media sites. Like I'll take yesterday, right? The thing about the biggest reaction, I was blasting Bill Burr for his Kimmel interview where he said, I think they're doing a great job with the LA fires. Well, everybody thinks they're a fire expert. Well, my comment to that, if you remember yesterday, was what happened to anti-establishment comedians? Like, Bill Burr sounded like a hostage covering for those incompetent LA officials. So I put that clip, a 35-second clip, on the Facebook thing. People were like, yeah, pretty much. Put it on Instagram. Yeah, whatever. Put it on TikTok. It's up to, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000 views, whatever it is. But most of the comments on there, I'm getting so much hate. It's so funny. It's like the people, because most of the lefties in your life, this is probably why you stayed away from it. Most of the hardcore Trump-hating leftists are still on TikTok. That's where they are. So if you put anything that criticizes any entertainer or comedian or anybody that leans left now, like Bill Burr, oh my God, you'll get blasted like I did. Oh, it's unbelievable. I'm getting so much hate over there. But it is what it is. It's a force that's not going away anytime soon. So just letting you know, if you love TikTok and it's designed well, it really is. It's not going away because Trump wants to save it. I'll tell you that much. All right, we lost a legend. R.I.P. Bob Ueker, the Uke. You might know him from, any number of things. Legendary baseball player. Now, we always made fun of the fact that he wasn't a good baseball player because he couldn't really hit, but he was a great catcher for years. Radio side of things, he was a play-by-play guy and color commentary guy for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he did national games too. But an actor as well. I forgot about this one in the 80s from my childhood. He was on that show Mr. Belvedere. But he was also in Major League. You might remember that one, Just a Bit Outside. An incredible career from a guy that, because he was an entertainer, was able to take a mediocre baseball career and turn that into American icon status. He passed away at 90 yesterday. R.I.P. Bob, the Uke. And he also became pretty famous and used all of his skills in those Miller Lite commercials. You might remember those. This was the one that said, I must be in the front row.
I love them. Good seats, huh? You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on. Oh, I must be in the front row. Come on. Light beer from Miller.
What a legend, man. Thanks for a great career. At 90, did everything. What an amazing, amazing career. Anyway, we lost him. We lost Bob Ueker, but we gained maybe a new American legend in the sports world. I've said for years, you might remember me saying this in radio days, I said for years that tennis is dying because we don't have any villains. Think about the men's side of tennis. They're so good. Everybody's so good at tennis that it's like boring to watch now. There's no real villains. Remember growing up and you had like Jimmy Connors and then you had McEnroe and there was like arguments and fights and there was personalities. I think we found a new hero. She's an American tennis player. Just competed in the Australian Open. Her name is Danielle Collins. I don't know if you saw this. Now, I intentionally didn't pay a lot of attention to what the match was all about, why people hate her in Australia so much. Because I wanted specifically, I did this intentionally, to just concentrate on her reaction. I can't love this enough. So she gets booed mercilessly throughout her entire match. And always has, apparently, on the other countries' courts, especially Australia. They just hate her because the American attitude. I've never heard of an athlete handle haters and booing as well as this girl did. Like, told him to shut up. Said, grabbed her butt like kiss my ass kind of thing. And then at her post-match interview that she won, and then the press conference, she said, you know what? You want to boo me? Go ahead. I feed off of it. And you got to buy a ticket to boo me, so bring it on. Again, I don't know why they hate her so much, but I absolutely love her reaction to this.
You know, I was thinking during the match, I was like, if I'm out here, I might as well just take that big fat paycheck. And Coco and I love a good 5-star vacation. So part of that check is going to go towards that. So thank you guys. Thanks for coming out here and supporting us tonight.
Legend. legendary. I can't love that enough. I love it. First of all, for tennis, good. If you have a villain, sport's going to do better. Fantastic. And she's an American who doesn't give a crap what the Australians think of her or the foreign press thinks of her. And I love that. But what a way to handle it, right? What if you apply that to your personal life? You got haters at work, online, in your family? Pfft, bring it on. I love it. Thanks for the boost. Love that girl. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great, wicked, awesome weekend. And on Monday, like I said, probably not. I don't think there's any possible way at 8 a.m. on Monday you're going to be able to find me doing a live stream because I'll be in some security line with my buddy, miles deep, 30 miles of fencing for the inauguration. But if you let me know that you want me to live stream as much as I possibly can from the crowd of the inauguration in D.C., I will do it. Just do me a favor. Follow me. It's at Wicked Bill Adams on X. And I'm sorry, audio podcast people. This is just going to be an X thing because I'm only going to have my phone. At Wicked Bill Adams. Press the follow. Next to the follow button is the alert sign, the little bell. So when something's going live that I think is pretty interesting from the crowd's perspective on that, I will definitely bring it live to you. Let me know in the comments, though. With all that said, have a wicked awesome weekend. Don't take any crap like anybody, like Danielle Collins. That's a lesson for everybody. Love you. I'll talk to you soon.